Hello and welcome to episode 12 of Baking Breadli. I believe it's episode 12 because, yes, we are uploading episode 11 as we speak. And in the last one, we went through a lot of kind of development stuff and it's very technical. And we finally got some styles going on. You can see there's the beginnings of typography happening on the website, and I've put up episode 10, which kind of comes towards the end of our package manager craziness. But in this episode, I wanted to go a lot less technical and look at some things that aren't so intense. Some of them I want to try out, see how they work in the development workflow. And some of them are just things that I like that I thought I'd just mention in this video. And luckily we're not going to look at very much code this time around. We're just going to be looking at tools, free tools as well. I quite like the idea of free, as I think a lot of us are. And it's surprising how many things are available completely free to use that have incredible amount of power, and it's not really a limitation, the only real limitation, if you can call it that, is it tends to be something that's public or publicly accessible. A simple example is GitHub. You can keep repos on there and maintain code, and you can manage like freelance projects on there. But it will be all public. That's the drawback. And if you don't want it public, you pay for it. And that seems like reasonable. But all the other features of GitHub are all there, free to use. And I mean, a little tip that I use is for private repos. I actually cheekily put it on. Well, not cheekily. I use Bitbucket for private repos because they give you private repos if you're like a single person. It's free for up to 5 users, so they charge you per user as opposed to per private repo. You don't get as many features as GitHub, and GitHub's obviously at the forefront of this Git feature rich website, whereas Bitbucket's kind of trailing behind, but they still do pretty decent job of managing things. It's just the UI that's a little bit dated and in some ways and not got everything going on. So yeah, that's a free kind of option that you can go for there. But I want to look at management stuff to manage Breadli. Excuse me. And one of the things we actually use at BaseKit, and I have used at other design studios, is Trello. And I think a lot of us are quite familiar with Trello now. It's a management system that is all based around cards, and you just put cards in columns, and the cards represent like things. This actually here is the Trello development board, and you can write content into these cards and put to-dos in there, put kind of basic content formatting in here, so lists and links and bold text and put tags to it and things like that. And it's great. It's a really good tool, and it's free. You can create as many boards as you like and go mad for it. So that's a free tool in itself, and I think the paid features are not really that kind of appealing. I think the paid stuff is like stickers and things like that. I suppose I'd like to think they're making a bit more money, and maybe there's some way that they make more money, like maybe some kind of private system or business model or business versions for it. And what was it? Yeah, I like it. Really good. It's a bit weird kind of management system because everything seems to be priority 1, And that's when I start kind of, for design studios, feel like it's better to use something like Basecamp, which isn't free, but that is really good at kind of making it it's more inclined towards design agencies, but you can manage stuff at a bit more of a variant level, so you can have text documents in there and simple to-dos, and then whole like task lists, and bulk stuff up, and it becomes more of a not intimate, but like more personalized in the project management. Whereas this is it's straight cut. It's like everything is a box, and that goes into other boxes, and that's it. It just all kind of goes into things, and they all have a same level of need, but they get done in the list. It's very much like tickets that you have in Jira. If you've ever used Jira before, which is part of the Atlassian stuff, that goes with Bitbucket, and that's all for like dev tickets and things like that. And that's their kind of advanced issues panel, like in GitHub, and it works well. But that's like on the other end of Basecamp, where it's really technical. And I actually wanted something like that. I wanted something that would manage stuff in our repo, in our Breadli repo, with issues. But these issues get really they look really boring, and it doesn't give you a nice overview of everything. You can't like edit stuff really quickly on the fly. You can't manage it like a project. It's just like a list of to-dos in one thing. If we go back to issues and then look at the closed stuff, it just comes up in here, and you can't like do anything with them. So I saw on many a tweets Waffle.io. If I go to Waffle.io in incognito mode, we can have a look at the main website. And it's work better on GitHub issues. Waffle creates full project management solution for your existing GitHub issues. And what it is basically your GitHub issues in Trello format. And that's what I see it as. So issues are turned into cards, and then your columns are your stages of progression, and they put tags on them and things like that. And it seemed really cool. I mean, this is a perfect example. So there's your open issues, and then here is your Waffle board. And initially when I saw Waffle, I thought it was a bit of a slightly gimmicky, because it's got a kind of cool icon, and it's just a bit of fun. It kind of makes things look pretty for Git or GitHub. But once I used it on one of the things, I saw it and thought, wow, actually this works quite well. This is like even expanding further on using GitHub as like a proper management tool, and like using all the features in there, because there's loads of features in GitHub, and they get unnoticed because maybe the design's a little bit lackluster and not very intriguing or interesting to maybe a designer, or somebody who isn't familiar with Git or GitHub. So this is what happens if you sign up. It just like you connect with your GitHub account. It just syncs it up and adds your basic details into it. And you can add like boards to it, just like you can in Trello. So let me close that. And I haven't actually done it, so I'm going to do it while I'm recording. How are we doing? 9 minutes. Cool. So let's add a board. And it's going to look in my account and look at everything in here, and there's loads of base kit repos there. So let's find Breadli. Here it is. So we'll click on that and give it a moment. So here we go. So here's all our development tickets, I guess, or issues and pull requests. What's this? Show everyone what you're working on with a badge on your README. Hey, yeah, let's do it. This basically puts a little badge on the repo in the README to say we are using Waffle, and I want to tell people I'm using Waffle actually, because then you guys can go and check out the repo and indeed check out like the issues and make them and have a play around with this. You know, say what you would like to see in the website or indeed in these videos. So if we go back to issues and clear this filter, there should be, oh no, is it an open pull request? Let's have a look at my thing. Oh wow, that's so clever, isn't it? They've basically sent me a pull request from unknown repository. Commits. Files changed. So they've got the story in ready. Whoops. Let's go back a few views. Here we are, conversation. So here it is. It's in here. And it's just like an issue. Well, it's a pull request. So Waffle has sent me a pull request, and here it is in here. So you can click on this. Gonna kind of have a conversation in here, maybe with Waffle Iron, and we can change the size, the labels. And look, these are labels that we made. There's the development label. Maybe we should. Can we make ones in here? We can't add labels. Oh no, it's not a bug. We want is a bug. It's not a milestone either. We won't put it as like in a certain thing, but I could put like a management thing in there. I guess this might be like priority level. So let's assign me to it. So that's like notifying me stuff is happening. So let's. So it's alert. It's doing stuff in here. There we are. It's refreshed in here. Let's put this as an enhancement, because this is an enhancement to the repo. So we've put it as an enhancement in here. So if we go back to Waffle, it's an enhancement. So yeah, this is kind of looking directly at GitHub and mirroring it. And it's a pull request. You have no pull requests associated with this issue. Well, we do, because it is a pull request. So can we move it? And you can move it into ready. So what does this do over here? So we've got it's going to create the labels now. So I guess if we move these into ready in progress, it's adding the labels to it. And then refresh again, it's changed to in progress. So we could probably change these colors in GitHub, so then they look a little bit more appropriate. So what I'm going to do is I'm then going to merge this pull request. Confirm merge, and that's gone into the master. And then we'll go back into here, and because it's merged, it's closed it. which is pretty cool. What does this do? Select size in that. So yeah, you can. I like how this swings. Like, if you're on a more powerful Mac or computer in general, that will swing a lot smoother. I quite like that. Nice animation. Did I take that out of order? There we go. Nice. You've got to put these in order now. So yeah, so that is Waffle, and Waffle is available for you to go and check out from here. So you can click through, and it goes through to here. I wonder if you can see it in incognito mode. Like, can you see it without being logged in? So you can see the action from a viewpoint. Got tea again. Yes, so you can see stuff, and then if you had an issue, you have to log in. Cool. So that's Waffle, and it's free. So it's like Trello, but through GitHub. This is really cool for like web development. I would have thought it works with private repos, and that's how they charge you. You know, that's how they make a little bit of money, because we all got to make money somehow. Metrics. Oh, look at that. Wow. Really surprising, all the features that are in here. So we can add an issue, put more details to it, kind of fire it in there, and then, you know, expand on it on GitHub. Yeah, cool. So that is Waffle. Okay, so next thing is conversations and chatting, you know, instant chat. And you can have a decent conversation with somebody on GitHub in comments to do with an issue. But what if you want to just talk about general chit chat, and you want to kind of flesh out a possible feature, but you don't want to make an issue? And that's kind of like what you do in Slack. That's the kind of thing you have conversations with. And Slack's has got the attention of many people over the last, how long has it been around? Maybe a year. And it is the thing for instant chat for like project management. So you can have conversations, you can tag things up, you can do all sorts. It seems to be really smooth conversation, and we use it at BaseKit as well as Trello, and it works really nicely, especially with the development team, because they log in as well, and dev and design can work with each other and chat about features and things like that before you even make an issue or a ticket on Jira. So you could have a conversation in Slack and then go, right, well, that needs to be built, that needs to be actioned, so we'll make an issue for it, or whatever the equivalent is, a ticket in our system. And there is even a free version of this. I think Slack, like, if you make a team up, I think it's free. I'm not sure, but I tell you what is free: Gitter. And Gitter is like Slack, but in the Waffle way. So you know how Waffle is just is hooked into GitHub and into your GitHub project. All this is Slack, but hooking into your repo again. So you can hook into whatever repo or whatever organization. We've got organizations that I'm associated with down here, and Yeah, you can have conversations with whoever's in the organization, whoever can see the repos that you're involved in. Like I guess the public ones would be just public, and you can have conversations with people, and it doesn't cost anything. So let's create a room for Breadli. So we'll make a repository based conversation or chat. So we're going to filter the repositories. So let's look for bread. Look for bread. And there we go. Get started. Spread the word. I've just been emailed. You have a new chat room on Gitter. And this is interesting. So spread the word. Get started. So Waffle Iron. Oh, right. That's one of the people I can add to it because Waffle Iron is the only person that's added stuff to my repo. So that's the only person that's been like checking stuff out. And there's the Gitter badge. That's something else. I'm almost starting to think that people who made Waffle, the same people who made Gitter, if they are good, that would be a nice cohesion. So this is Badger. So let's have a look at Waffle. Yeah, look. So let's put this as ready to put in, and we'll assign it to me, and we'll make it a label as an enhancement as well. So you can see all this stuff kind of working together. Look, see, there's the Gitter badge. And this is ready to mosey on through. Let's close Slack now because we've got Gitter going on. And you can see stuff is happening in here. #23 is the pull request. And it's getting kind of fed through. So I'm going to do a quick test now. And I'm going to see what happens if I move it to in progress and then move it into done. Like what's going to happen on the repo? Because technically that should merge it, but I don't know if Waffle has the capability to do that. So if we go into our notifications, there's a pull request here from Gitter Badger. That's their account on GitHub. So now this is in progress. It's moved from ready. It's in progress. So what happens if I check the time again. 22 minutes. Cool. So what happens if I move this into done? Will it close it? So it closed it, but it didn't merge it in. So if we look here, it's not in here. So it's closed it. It's like the issue's resolved, but we didn't bother merging in the changes because we don't have the power to do that. So let's move this back to in progress. Go back to our pull requests, do this, and then click merge pull request. And we look back at Waffle, it's done that, and then we look back in here, and it's closed that. So let's close this. So yeah. See, I've got the I'm part of Anchor CMS stuff as well, so that's in there, and it's got all sorts of other stuff going on. Add people to this room, share this chat room, notifications, archives, opening GitHub. I think archives, that's where they start charging you, is when they want you to go further back in time. They only store so much of the conversation that you have on Gitter before they're like, well, we'll cut you off because we've only got so much server space, and we need to pay for them. So if you pay us, then we'll keep hold of your messages, which I think is a mighty fine deal. I think, they can't give you everything for free. Tea's going cold. Who forked this? I did. It was me. Members. Gitter Badger. So they're a member of this repo now. Yeah, that's fine by me. So yeah, so that is Waffle, and that is Gitter, and you can find these links in our README information. I will probably move them up here, make them a bit tidier. And the last thing I'm going to show you, I'm probably not going to show you in much detail because I have to do some setups for it, but it's CloudFlare. And CloudFlare is a way of essentially supercharging your website. That supercharging is like quite a common buzzword in the web, and when I say supercharge, it does a pretty fine job of speeding up your website, and it does a load of kind of CDN caching and basically like a load of kind of extra things for what is free again. And their free plan gives you, and this is what's happening on Anchor Themes, it's just you get like page view data as well for free. You know, other people charge for this kind of data, and it also checks for threats and kind of deals with them appropriately. It's quite powerful, and I'm not spending a penny on it. So I am going to link this up with Breadli, and I'm going to create an issue in here for it. So I'm going to add CloudFlare, add Breadli, add Breadli to CloudFlare account using name server details. Excuse me. And when I say name server details, that's the way CloudFlare works. And what happens is when you want to add a site, and I think this is really cool. So I want to add Breadli. So I add this, and then what it's going to do is it's going to ping that domain. It takes about 60 seconds to, as it says there, 60 seconds to check the records and the information and bring back everything and find out what URLs you want to do with it, want to use, and what are the URLs that you're not bothered with. And it's very intelligent on how it does this. And the stuff that it asks you to change is the name servers. So what all you have to do is just change those in the account where you bought the domain from, and they point to CloudFlare, and then in turn CloudFlare will then point to where your site's hosted, which is in this case CloudFlare will just point at GitHub. And it's a good way of doing it because it requires minimal thinking. It just says, what do you want to do? Where do you want it to go? And that's it. It doesn't even like do that. So we can continue with the setup. And here we are. We've got a number of records associated with this, and we've got the www. We've got blog, and we've got our 2 IP addresses, which are the GitHub IP addresses. Now I don't want to point blog anywhere. That's interesting, so I can turn that off. This is active. It's interesting. CloudFlare traffic will be accelerated for this. Off CloudFlare traffic will bypass the network. So this I don't think I need to do, because I think the www just resolves straight to Breadli. So if I put in here www.breadli, it just goes to Breadli or Bread.li. So we don't need to do that one. We just need to do it on these records. We just need to supercharge these. So I've added all the records I want to add. I can add more if I want, but it's scanned it all for me. And then there's a free option, and then what it will do is, I'm not going to show this on camera, I don't want to show you too many of the details, but then what it will do is it will provide me with name server addresses, and I will then put them into the account where I bought the domain from, and then CloudFlare will concurrently point back to GitHub, and it will give me all those facilities, and on top of that it gives me an SSL certificate. It takes longer for it to process, it takes 24 hours before I get the SSL, but it's a basic SSL, and CloudFlare have paid for it themselves. So any site that's on CloudFlare has the availability of an SSL certificate, which is amazing. So I believe that means that you can make basic payments on a site and not have to worry about your SSL certificate, because it's a kind of global one. And CloudFlare obviously have our like security in mind, and they've gone, well, we're a secure server. That's why we got the SSL, because we know we are secure. That's the whole point of this thing, apart from speed. So yeah, this is another kind of facility that you can use that doesn't cost anything, and it would then be something that you would probably pay for when you get more client work, if you're a freelancer, or even if you're an agency. You get more than so many sites. You start thinking, well, we can start paying for this facility and maybe offsetting the charge or offsetting the cost to your clients, and then giving them more data and faster websites. And concurrently with Gitter and Waffle, you can then use stuff and offset the cost again for all this management stuff. And you're going to need it for when you start working in bigger teams. So yeah, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to assign this to myself and add this as an enhancement. Well, actually, it's development and an enhancement. It is an enhancement. Yes. And put into this column when they are ready to be worked on. Yes, this is ready to be worked on. So I'm going to be working on this now. And then if we go over to GitHub, check our issues out, add CloudFlare. Cool. So that is it. So the three things: CloudFlare, Gitter, and Waffle. And that is cloudflare.com. That is gitter.im and waffle.io. So have a look at them. Feel free to add some stuff to the Breadli thing, and have a go with your repos and see how you like them. And I will see you in the next video. We'll do a bit more development in the next one. So I'll see you then.